And it's 12:03 for geometry. This is the last lesson that we're going to be teaching you. So try to enjoy it. It's the last lesson I'll be doing as an Ed puzzle then too. This whole thing is going to be Ed puzzle. I think I have 20 questions that you need to do. We will put it on probably as a Kami too, but you don't have to do the Kami unless you like destroy this. If you have a really low score, we'll decide what score you have to get. Then you'll have to go and do it on the Kami too. If you pay a little bit of attention, do all the questions with me, you will be done after this lesson. And then we'll get you ready for the quiz and then get ready for the final, and you will be done with geometry for this year, this crazy year. So we're going to talk about circles and arcs and angles, and I'm just going to show you some things. So you see this first one. I have a circle, and there's an angle on it, and there's an arc. So let me first get some. So angle B. Hopefully you know that's right here. There's angle B. Now I like to take my pencil when I make out my angle. Here's the line for the angle, and here's the line for the angle. What arc connects those two lines? Oh, this arc here, AC. My A is kind of far from A, should be over there. AC. So the measure of angle B has a connection with the arc AC, but the angle is half the arc. So on this side, let's say that's a 40 degrees. If I wrote 40 there, it's going to let me write 40. If this is a 40-degree angle, the arc is always going to be double. It's going to be 80. Something I forgot to say. This is considered an inscribed angle. Inscribed means the angle is on the circle. This is the circle. It's on the circle. If the angle is on the circle, the arc that it makes is double the angle size. Inscribed angles. So let's look at the next picture. So here's a semicircle. How do I know it's a semicircle? Because it goes right through the center of the circle. That makes it a semicircle. When you have a semicircle like that and an angle that goes up to that, this is always going to be 90 degrees. Now let's look at it a different way. This angle makes this great big arc. Okay? If this is 90, the arc is double, that's 180. The shortcut is to realize that if it goes right through the center, if it's the diameter, if it's the diameter like that, this is always 90 degrees. So they don't have to tell you it's a 90-degree angle. Okay. Opposite angles are supplementary. So if you have a four-sided shape inside of a circle or a quadrilateral inscribed in a circle, these four angles equal 360. And opposite angles, like if this one was, it looks to me like a 70, this would be 110. Those opposite angles equal 180. So I'm not going to even take a guess on the other two, but these K and T would also equal 180. I suppose I could come up with one. Let's say this looks like a 80. Well, then this one down here would have to be a 100-degree angle. Opposite angles of an inscribed quadrilateral, opposite angles are supplementary. Now this is really the same one, it's just that it looks different. The measure of the angle formed by a tangent and a chord is half the measure of an intercepted arc. Oh my goodness, that sounds way harder than it needs to be. So I have an angle. Here's my angle down here. See this angle right here? This angle formed by a tangent. Let's make the tangent line red. There's my tangent line. And a chord. Let's make the chord blue. So I have a chord and a tangent. They make this green angle. The green angle is half of the purple arc. So it's really the same as the other one. The angle is still on the circle. So if this angle right here was, oh, I don't know, let's say it's 60. That would mean the arc is double that. The arc is 120. The arc is always bigger than the angle, and it's always twice as big. So you're either going to multiply by 2 or divide by 2. You have to think, what's the biggest? This is the big. Oh, I don't know. And the angle is smaller. So this part is the biggest side, and this is the smaller. I don't know. You had to figure out how to remember that. Most of you do best if we do questions together. So I will do some the whole way as an example, and some of them I'll just do a little part of it, and then you'll answer it on the Edpuzzle. Remember, this is the only thing you do. So the Edpuzzle's a little longer, but then you don't have to do any homework when you get done. So state if the angle is inscribed. If it is, name the angle and the arc. So here's the angle. Is it inscribed? Yes, because it's on the circle. It's right on top of the circle. So your first answer is yes. Name the angle. Well, you could say angle L. Some people would say angle MLN because it's the only angle down there. I think you're okay just saying angle L. Now, what arc? What's the intercepted arc? So you draw the angle. The arc is what connects the two ends. Here's the arc. So you write MN and you put an arc over it. Okay, we come to number 2. Is it an inscribed angle? No, because this point is not on the circle. So you say no, and you're done. Simple as that. On the test, it should be that simple too. Don't make it more complicated than it is. So now, after this, I'm going to have you start answering some things. Find the measure of the arc or the angle. On this one, they want an angle. So you say, okay, I want this angle. They're going to try to mess with you a little bit, but there's little hints. They want, I'll change the color. They want the green arc. Because see, this green arc is connected to my 2 purple lines. Well, I don't know the arc, I don't know the angle. Some of you just want to say I'm done. Look for hints. Here's the first hint. That's a semicircle. If that's a semicircle, number 1, that's 90. This is 180. It's just a lot of stuff. This half is 180. And this much is 76. So if I went 180 and I subtracted 76 for 104, this is 104. Now that's my arc. I want to know the angle. The arc is bigger than the angle by 2. Divide that in half. 104 divided by 2. Pick the correct answer. Okay. You're going to do this one because it's very, very similar to the one I just did. Pay attention. This line goes through the center. They're telling you this. You should first be able to find this arc. I'm not going to tell you how. Once you have that arc, you can go to the angle. And you're going to use 2. You're either going to multiply by 2 or divide by 2. And a hint, the angle is smaller than the arc. Number 5, another one, same thing, but I'll do this one for you, or a lot of it. I draw my angle that I'm looking for. I connect the angle with the arc. I don't know either one, so I got to look for other hints. This went through half of the circle, so that means this is 180, and obviously this is 180. Oh, I know 80. 180 minus 80 gives me 100. That arc goes with the angle. Find the angle. Okay, then they're going to start putting more lines on it. And you'd really be good, especially on the Chromebook. You can choose a color, draw the arcs, pay attention to where you're at. So this time I'm going to choose blue. I'm going to get you started. I'd suggest you do the same thing. It's a 42-degree angle. If you draw this and go up here and connect, how big would that arc be? Okay. On this one, notice it does not go through the center, so realize that's not a diameter, but you don't need it. Draw the arc, connect, or draw the angle, connect the arc. You should be able to get the answer. Okay, find the measure of km, km. So here's K, there's M. They want that arc. Take the end of the arc, connect it to the angle. Oh, oops. You know the angle. If you know the angle, the arc is going to be double it. So you're going to double that number and get the arc. As I'm going through this, I'm thinking, these are too easy. I should have given you harder questions, but maybe I shouldn't do that. 37, the same thing. Draw your angle, trace the angle. Connect the arc on the other end. And that's your answer. Okay, there's a 51, there's a 79. They want this arc. That arc goes with what angle? I'm just going to travel here and travel there. I don't know X. I don't know the arc. But I know these two things. And from a long time ago, you found out that there's 180 degrees in a triangle. So you're going to add these two together, subtract from 180, and then you'll get this number. Once you have that number, you're going to double it, and you'll get your arc. Just got to use all the hints they give you. Okay. Let's see, we want that arc over there. You got to start with what you know. Well, you know 70, and you know 73. I'm going to start with 73. 73-degree angle would give me this arc. I could find that arc now. I would take 73 and double it. I'm still not done. And you think, well, I still got to find this one. There's a lot of ways to do it. Some people would take the 70 and divide it in two and get that angle, and then in a triangle, add them together, subtract from 180, and you'd get this, and then you'd double it. Or some people would say there's 360 degrees all the way around. So if I take the 73 and double it, so I will do that, 73, 146, and then I add these two together, 70 and 146, and subtract from 360, I'll have it. Again, there's more than one way of doing it. Your eyes will tell you what seems the easiest. Okay, here we go. We are up to number 12. They want to know this angle, so I like to trace it. And that angle goes with that arc. I know this and this. Probably you want to add those two together, subtract from 360, and then you'd have your arc. Once you have your arc, you'll divide it by 2, and you will have your angle. Okay, I got a 58-degree angle. Again, I always trace it. Most of the time I trace it, I should say. So if I had my angle, I could find my arc, but I want this arc. So if you have this arc, you're going to double this, get that answer. Then you can take this one plus that one, put it together. How many degrees all the way around? 360. So you will go 360 and subtract what those two numbers were, and you should have your answer. Okay. A 90-degree angle. That tells me something. We had a theorem about that. That 90-degree angle, this is going to be 180. If you have 180 and you have 80, add them together, subtract from that magic number that you should know by now, and choose the correct answer. We're already up to 15. You're looking for this arc. So I trace my arc, trace my angle. Okay? You don't know the arc, you don't know the angle, but in this triangle, you know two numbers. Add those two together, subtract from 180. Now you have this one. Once you have that one, you can double it, and you'll have your arc. So add, subtract, multiply. You add these two together, subtract from 180, and then double it to get the arc. If you kind of keep track of what you're doing, it's not so hard. Okay. They want this angle here, so I always do this. Goes with that. Okay, that, I don't know anything. And this does not go through the center. This blue line does not go through the center. But, so I'm going to change colors. So on your Chromebook, you'll want to change colors sometimes. I changed to red. And I'm thinking 82. Actually, I want to look at this thing. That thing goes right through the center of the circle, right over to here. Look at that. This is a 90-degree corner. What else do I know? I'm going to take another color. This arc, this purple arc, goes with that angle. I don't know that one either. I'm a little bit stumped. Give me a moment. We're going to have to do this one together. I got to just start filling things in. So if this is 82, this is half of it, 41. This is 41, 90. Oh, this red one, this whole thing is 180. I see it. A little slow. It's good you have a lot of colors. I know you have a lot of colors in your Chromebook. Some of you would be better off just erasing everything. I'm not going to erase. See this 82? It also goes here and here. And of course, that's the easier route. So if that's 82, that angle is half of it, that's 41. If the whole thing was 90 and subtract your 41. Now, it is true that I was just kind of struggling with that and putting lines and numbers. I never really made a mistake, but I didn't know what direction to go. That's what you have to do sometimes. Sometimes you're taking a color and trying it. Okay, that didn't do me any good. Fill things in. Just constantly put some numbers down. Like I did have the 90-degree angle. I chose this one as the 41 instead of that one. That one would have been a better choice right away. But you just have to use your numbers and use your pen and just let your just let your geometry knowledge take you to where you need to go. And sometimes you end up doing more than you need to do. But then you come to another one and it's like, okay, I got this one. So actually that was kind of fun. Okay, this is the one where it's a quadrilateral inscribed in a circle. At the beginning, I taught it. Opposite angles are supplementary. So the opposite angle to 88 is this one. So you just take 180, subtract your 88, and you get angle D. So we went from a hard one to a really easy one. And this one is the same, as easy as that. I was hoping I had 20 questions. Nope. Okay. When you'll answer this one, hopefully you do okay. Let's say you just really mess it up and have a really low score. We're going to send it as a CAMI. You can go back and do them with your pencil as a CAMI. If your score is too low, we're not going to count it as homework. It's got to be a logical score. And we might even, like I said at the beginning, we might tell you what score that has to be. Being it's the last lesson, we might be a little more lenient with it. But we mostly want to know that you paid attention, walked your way through it, can get the answers. So when you take this quiz, it's a piece of cake. Okay, it's been fun. Talk later.